no! There is a monster over 50 feet tall!
Hurry! We need the Science Patrol or we could be harmed.
Fear not, citizens. Help has arrived, for the Science Patrol is here. It's time to use the military diffusion cannon.
Huh. The monster destroyed the military tank.
Egad, Ultraman is the only one who can save us now!
Using the beta capsule, Nikolaus becomes Ultraman. Yes, Ultraman saves the day yet again.
Ultraman is a television show about how giant monsters love to attack Japan. Unlike my last review, this review is on a TV show from the 1960s. Because of this, I'll only be talking about 3 episodes, one from each disc that came with the set. However, this is Ultraman Volume 2, so I will give a brief backstory which would have been covered in the first episode. Our main character is Hayata, a member of the Science Patrol, not to be confused with the Paw Patrol. Hayata was accidentally killed by an alien being named Ultraman, who would then later change his name to be Ultra Them to be more politically correct. Even though man means rotating spherical ball where he comes from. Probably. When Ultraman killed Hayata, he brought him back to life so he wouldn't have to face more jail time. But in return, anytime Hayata sees a giant monster, he must transform into Ultraman and wrestle it. I guess if he doesn't, they'll both die.
Hayata now uses the beta capsule and becomes a super being, Ultraman.
The studio which dubbed the show sort of did whatever they felt like at times, so really, I have no idea what the show's about. All I know is Ultraman fights giant aliens, and I love it. End of review. I love Ultraman, just as everyone should.
Ultraman.
The 3 episodes I'll be talking about are Mystery Comet Typhoon, Who Has Arrived, and Farewell Ultraman. But before I start talking about the episodes, let's first discuss themes that are present throughout the show. The first theme being the theme song to the show, the most jammin' theme song you'll ever hear, which makes you want to get up and dance. With lyrics so good, they couldn't write a second verse as good as the first, so they play the first verse twice.
Ultraman, here he comes from the sky. Ultraman, watch our hero fly. In a super jet he comes from a billion miles away, from a distant planet land. Comes our hero, Ultraman.
The episodes mainly consist of giant kaiju monsters, which will be destroying something. The Science Patrol will attempt to stop the monsters long enough for Hayata to run away and transform into Ultraman. From there, Ultraman will wrestle the monsters, breaking miniatures and usually using one of his magical space powers to ultimately destroy the creature, the most common ability being the Specimen Ray. In episode 25, Mystery Comet Typhoon, Comet 24 is going to collide with Earth, causing Michael Bay's Armageddon.
directed by Michael Bay.
Luckily, however, it isn't. The first half of the episode is everyone sitting on the edge of their seats in worry. So much so that Fuji puts soap in their coffee. Or was it salt? Soap? Did she say soap? Why would it be soap? She must have said salt. Right? This isn't the case for all of the episodes, at least most of what I've seen. But with this episode, the sound designer lost his Yeti microphone and used his iPhone to record instead. You see, kids, back in 1967, Amazon was a lot less established. So, Amazon Prime wasn't available, meaning the sound designer couldn't get a new Yeti microphone soon enough. So after the comet flies by, Hayata and friends are looking for nuclear bombs which have gone missing. However, Harry Henderson is eating them. And then Jeff Goldblum shows up. So then Harry starts fighting Jeff Goldblum, and he fights dirty. And then a man in a costume comes out of a cave and rips the wings off Jeff Goldblum, just making him David Duchovny. Then Harry starts punching David, while the guy in the costume cheers him on.
That's Travis Sermon. Honestly, I'm not shocked.
And then Harry Henderson and the guy in the costume start fighting. Hayata, as confused as I am, forgets he can transform into Ultraman and tries to kill a giant monster with a laser gun. Luckily, after his stunt double dies, Hayata remembers that he can transform into Ultraman and starts fighting the monster. While Ultraman fights the one monster, the other members of the Science Patrol use a bomb to blow up Harry, which, I mean, you can do that. I would have thought if the monster ate nuclear bombs, that would have been a bad idea. I guess maybe he didn't eat the bombs? The plot for this episode's still up for debate. Finally, Ultraman uses his magical lasers and cutting laser discs to kill the monster. What I like about his magical discs is that they cut things before they even touch them and cause the body parts to fly like a Sam Raimi movie. Next up is episode 31, Who Has Arrived? I chose this episode for a very random reason, which, my god, was 100% of what I thought it was. The name, Who Has Arrived, reminds me of a book which I've never read, called Who Goes There? There is no way that this was not intentional. I refuse to believe that this was not planned. The creator, whose name I will not say because I do not want to mispronounce it, absolutely knows what he did. For those who don't know, there have been a couple of movies based off this book. At the time this episode was made, only one film adaptation existed named The Thing from Another World, which was rebooted in 1982 by John Carpenter and was simply called The Thing, which got a prequel in 2011 called The Thing 2. This time it's all CGI regardless of what the directors want. And of course rebooted again shortly after with the name The Being from Another Location. I'm going to start talking about the episode now, and if you've seen any of those films, you understand how this episode is the same. This episode starts off with a high note. The first 5 minutes is completely in Japanese.
だって後藤隊員はどう見たってなあ30そこそこの年に見受けられますが
At first I thought I broke something, but no, literally it's just not dubbed for some reason. This actually happens throughout the episode, always before or after what would have been a commercial break. In the episode, we're introduced to a scientist who has been in the jungle for 20 years and is really into walls for some reason.
What kind of materials is used in these walls?
Turns out, the walls are made of some sort of super concrete, which no one else is allowed to know. Naturally, this means he's an alien. So the scientist hasn't been there very long, and random plants start growing everywhere. Not really helping his case thus far. Sweet lordy, kids, get out of here!
I've studied this vegetation quite carefully here at the university. And this plant is definitely not a mushroom.
Thank you, sir. I was genuinely unsure. But with this knowledge, I know I can't use it to make soup. So I thank you. So the local university doctor happens to know about a walking plant monster which eats people, and was discovered by none other than the scientists they have at the Science Patrol headquarters. What a coinky-dink. I wonder what this could mean. Yeah, the scientist is the plant monster. Much like that other movie.
It sounds like, well, just as though you're describing some form of super Karen.
That's nearly right, Mr. Scott. This carrot, as you call it, has constructed an aircraft capable of flying some millions of miles through space.
propelled by a force as yet unknown to us.
Luckily for Fuji, it wasn't like the other movie. So they confiscate some plant samples from the scientists, which, by the way, looks very incriminating, let me tell you. I also like how he uses gloves to touch the plant. I bet Stephen King wished he used gloves in Creepshow.
This once.
With this, the doctor from the university was able to determine that the scientist is a shape-shifting plant. Like this little chase scene they have here, first he pushes him away, which he acts generally confused, and then he runs down a hall. Up to this point, I wondered, how is Ultraman going to fit into all of this? The monster is the same size as a normal person. I thought maybe the plants outside would grow, and would keep growing until they became giant monsters as well. What I did not expect was that the plant monster scientist would become giant. You know, when Hayata transforms into Ultraman, that seems fine. But when a plant monster does it, it becomes far-fetched. Hayata waits for a few buildings to be destroyed and a couple of tanks to explode before he chooses to transform into Ultraman. Ultraman and the giant mushroom.
Definitely not a mushroom.
Ultraman and the giant wacky tabaki monster fight, destroying a bunch of buildings while they do so. Christ, he even transforms into Ultraman inside of a building, just so he could have the thrill of destroying it. Does he not realize that this costs taxpayers hundreds of thousands of Bitcoin to repair? Probably. After Ultraman explodes the monster with his sonic fist of the North Star, he flies into the sky to destroy the alien invaders with his specimen ray. Also, there's an alien invasion. I may have forgotten to mention this. At the end of the episode, it is revealed that the other planets have been burned with fire. This somehow explains why they couldn't light a match earlier in the episode. I guess the plant monster was blowing out the fire. Why didn't the alien monster from The Thing think of that? It's so obvious. Our last episode is episode 39, Farewell Ultraman. This is both the last episode of Ultraman Volume 2 and of the series. The episode starts off with an alien army approaching Earth. It is up to the Science Patrol to stop the invasion. I guess they all knew the aliens would be coming to Japan. Off topic, but why is their name the Science Patrol if all they do is fly around in spaceship jet hybrids? I guess the name could be worse. I guess they could have called themselves the Space Force. It hasn't been too long when the invasion has arrived at Earth. Paris sends some fighter jets as a first line of defense. Unlike the ships the Science Patrol has, these French aircrafts look more like fighter jets than spaceships. You would think they would probably not be able to hold up against an alien invasion. However, you'd be wrong. Ultimately, however, there was more of the alien invaders and their weird-looking ships than the first line, so ultimately they came out on top. Now, I don't want to brag, but I actually have a replica of one of these invading ships, and it's not just any invading ship, it's actually the Mothership. You know what? You know what, guys? I'm going to show you.
Okay, so this here is my very limited edition alien Mothership. As you can see, it says, it's kind of hard to read. I'm going to just bring it closer here. It, if I can get it to zoom in maybe. Yeah, right there. We'll just focus in. It says Alien Mothership, and right there it's kind of hard to tell because the ship's kind of over top of it. But it says, signed by Ultraman. And right there, you can see right at the top here. It says signed, or it's a signature right here. And yeah, we've got Ultraman here. Now I haven't seen all the episodes, but as you can see, we've got Shrek and what might be Captain America. I guess they probably did some type of promotional crossover. And yeah, again, right here we see as seen on Ultraman, and how, I don't know why they would put black on black, but I think it's as one of a kind. So yeah, I always wear my protective gloves when I look at it. This has probably been the longest I've had it outside of its acrylic container. As you can see, it's already kind of peeled here. So I really don't like keeping it out because now it's going to get dust probably with inside that crack, as you can see right there. So best not pry at it. We don't want it to fall apart. So yeah, I'll just place it back here so we can just get a close up. So yeah, that's my my one-of-a-kind Ultraman alien. So so this is my one-of-a-kind alien mothership as seen from Ultraman, and yeah, probably the best $1,100 I've ever spent in my life.
It is revealed that the alien army is looking to find and kill Ultraman, which now makes me wonder if the only reason Japan was being attacked by giant monsters was because Ultraman was there. Huh. Maybe J. Jonah Jameson was right about Spider-Man after all. The team suits up and launches a second attack against the invaders. While this is happening, this guy is killed by an alien, which then pretends to be him. I wonder if this guy's also a killer plan, hey? The alien chokes Fuji until she's unconscious, and then proceeds to shoot at the control panel. Or, communication devices? The science! He's shooting the science! Therefore making the Science Patrol unable to use science! Probably. The Science Patrol was able to defeat the remaining alien invasion. However, one of the ships manages to escape. Hayata's ship follows in pursuit. The other members, whose names I still have not learned, have gone back to the headquarters to find the building is on fire. Luckily, they saved Fuji from the fire. They chase down the alien who'd shapeshift into the doctor outside. Knowing that the jig's up, the alien transformed back so that he could die with honor. The alien mothership finally reappears, and a giant egg containing yet another giant monster emerges. I'm willing to accept anything this show does now. While the other members go back to save the doctor, turns out he wasn't killed, Hayata transforms into Ultraman and starts fighting the monster. Instead of fighting, however, Ultraman spins really fast, which causes magical discs to form around the alien and attempts to hold him back. This fails and the alien's all like, "See ya!" and disappears, and then reappears behind Ultraman. Ultraman by this point is sick of this guy and uses one of his good old cutting laser discs. But this guy can make an anti-cutting laser disc shield. That's some bad luck. Then he starts beating Ultraman hard. Okay, now's the time we've been waiting for. Ultraman isn't playing around anymore. He uses his specimen ray, but then it is absorbed and shot back at him. Ultraman has failed. The aliens have won. All hail our new alien overlords. So Ultraman becomes Shinji from Evangelion and contemplates life for a while.
But maybe...
The Science Patrol uses a new gun which, get this, blows up giant aliens. Too bad they didn't have that earlier. While Ultraman is dying, another Ultraman appeared to save Ultraman. Turns out, Ultraman's tail lights out and he'll have to go back to M78.
M78, in the 4th galaxy.
Good name, good name. Hayata's life is still linked with Ultraman. They mention that Ultraman will need to come back or Hayata will die. Let's hope he doesn't forget, eh, buddy? Finally, Hayata returns to his team and tells them Ultraman is gone for now, but will someday return. All in all, Ultraman's a very fun show. This is only 3 episodes of the show. There's still 36 other episodes we could have been talking about. The show also has this kind of charm to it with the monster costumes, and the miniature buildings, and the amazing dub. I'd say it was absolutely worth the $2 or whatever it had cost me. I actually paid $20 just to get Volume 1 on DVD. With this all being said, I should mention that the show has been re-released on Blu-ray. It's shocking how nice it looks on Blu-ray compared to the DVD. Here's a couple of comparisons. The show is older, so the Blu-ray doesn't appear to be much better, at least at quick glance. But if you redo some comparisons, you can tell that the images are cleaner and better looking on the Blu-ray than on the DVD. Just jumping between these 3 episodes, you can see the improvements on the Blu-ray versus the DVD. Wait a minute. I hadn't noticed this before on the DVD, but with the Blu-ray, it's too clear. I've seen this before. Could it be? Is it? It must be. It even comes with a booklet that has information on the show to help me understand what's going on. For example, Harry Henderson's real name is Gooey Gas. And Hayata's gun is called the Super Gun. And Ultraman is 40 meters tall, or 21 Ford trucks for those who use Imperial. Now there is one last thing I should mention about the Blu-ray versus the DVD. The Blu-ray, unlike the DVD, only contains the original Japanese audio and is not dubbed. To be fair, the studio re-releasing the show on Blu-ray was likely looking to create the best quality of the show they could. Since the dub audio is inaccurate at times, the studio would have needed to create their own dub, which leads into the conclusion of my review. When it comes to films and movies from other language-speaking countries, especially Japan, released into North America, one argument always comes up: subs versus dub. If you watch anime, you best believe that if you're not watching it in Japanese audio, someone is losing their shirt for some reason. 2 common reasons that people prefer subtitles is because the English audio doesn't fit or feel right, and that the translation isn't 100% correct. This Ultraman DVD is exactly that. Does the audio fit? No. It's comical how much it doesn't fit, to be honest.
He saved me.
Rewatching these episodes with subtitles, I actually feel like I know what's happening. Fuji puts salt in their coffee, by the way. See, I wouldn't have known that without the subtitles. Not to mention that the ending was changed. Yeah, the last episode, Hayato was given his own life, so he's no longer connected to Ultraman. There's also no talk of Ultraman returning. Even the intro song's different. They have 2 verses. There is one other reason people prefer subtitles over dubs. In some cases, it's because of, well, what is it the kids call it nowadays? Ah, yes, the memes. They watch the Japanese audio for the memes. In the cases of some shows, there are English words that are being mispronounced or pronounced in a way which is humorous since it's unexpected.
Oh, that's a baseball!
I like to think the Ultraman dub is the exception to this. With it subbed, I have a better idea of what's happening. But with it dubbed, I have no idea what's going on. Not to mention some of the things the voice actors say. They even have this almost fake accent everyone seems to have. Just look at how this man says ultra good.
Sounds ultra good.
This dub is ultra gold. So I recommend the show. So if you want to watch the Blu-ray with your proper subtitles, or if you want to watch a dub where soap equals salt, all is good to me, man. But we can all agree, Ultraman could probably be Danny DeVito in a fight. Right? Right?